I think that for a lot of Ukrainians, it's all moving so fast, and they're perhaps, if anything, even more surprised and disappointed by the attitude that the Trump administration has taken than many people in Western Europe and in the United States. Ukrainians, the majority of them, actually thought that Trump was on their side. They really did. They thought that he might be the person who could put an end to this war in a way that would be fair to Ukraine. Strange as it may seem, that was what the opinion polls showed, and now the events of the last few days, people are finding it quite hard to believe the way that the Trump administration seems to be willing to reset relations with Russia, make huge concessions before the negotiations have even started. I mean, I think that a lot of people would argue that what's abnormal is sitting down at the table and pretending that everything's okay with a country that staged an unprovoked war of aggression and annexed territory for the first time since the Second World War. I mean, let's not forget the reason why the Americans and the Russians had not met since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. So, of course, there's shock and there's fear. There's also a certain hope that the Europeans will be shocked enough to spring into action and to finally wake up and start investing more in their defence. And so in that respect, the meeting in Paris yesterday, the announcement that the European Union will loosen its borrowing rules to allow European countries to quickly invest more in their own defence, that's very much welcomed in Kiev. They would have liked to see unity on sending troops, but given where most countries were just a few months ago, the fact that you've now got several European countries, the UK perhaps being the most vocal of them at the moment, saying clearly that they will be willing to send peacekeeping troops to Ukraine, that's of course welcome. I think what the Ukrainians will want to be asking the Europeans for in the coming weeks is simply more money. They'll be saying, look, it's very good if you invest in your own defence, but we've got 60% of our capacity for producing high-tech drones that is currently not being used simply because we don't have the money to pay for them. And so there are ways that the Europeans could quite quickly, by giving the Ukrainians more money, help shore up the country's defences. But of course, as the Ukrainian leadership has consistently said, if the United States is not on side, it's going to be very difficult indeed.